Before we get into today's episode, listeners, I just want to thank our sponsors. Without our sponsors, we couldn't bring you this podcast. So today we have two sponsors, the first of which is Restaurant.com. With Restaurant.com, you can save at thousands of restaurants across the country with just a few clicks. Their dining deals range from $5 to $100. They never expire, and they cost a fraction of the face value. Dinner has never been easier with Restaurant.com, used for dine-in, takeout, or delivery. Restaurant.com is offering our listeners 50% off their next purchase by going to www.restaurant.com/podcast. That's www.restaurant.com/podcast for 50% off your next purchase. Restaurant.com, the best deal every meal. And our second sponsor for this episode is Nightcap, the drink spiking prevention scrunchie. Do you ever feel uncomfortable at a bar with your drink exposed? Are you someone who covers their drink with their hand or their napkin? Now you don't have to. Nightcap is a fun solution to a serious problem. It can be worn as a wristband or a hair tie and taken out to cover up your drink at any time. According to alcohol.org, 56% of women have reported having their drink spiked at some point. It's time to take action with Nightcap. With the holidays coming up, giving Nightcap to a friend or a loved one is the perfect way to show that you care about their safety. Go to nightcapit.com, that's NIGHTCAPIT.com, and enter the code BARTALK, all capital letters with a space in between bar and talk, for 20% off your order, valid until November 31st. And now, let's get into the podcast. Welcome back again to Inebri-arts. This is Andy, the Inebri-art podcast, and I am once again still recording from home, which gives us some really cool opportunities to talk to people we wouldn't really normally get the chance to talk to. And all right, so I don't normally watch soap operas, but when I was a kid staying home from school, there wasn't much else on. So I have seen a few here and there. But today's guest is Kate Linder, who is an actress from Young and the Restless. Welcome to the show, Kate.
Thanks, Andy. It's great to be here.
So one of the things that really intrigued me about getting you on the show was not only are you an actress on a really popular soap opera, but you've played the same character for a very long time.
Yes. Actually, April 8th was my 38th anniversary on the show.
Wow.
I'm not that old. I don't know how that's.
So I'm assuming you started when you were like 2.
Yeah, I like that. That sounds good.
So how does that differ? I mean, obviously when you started, I'm sure you weren't even like that idea of playing the same character for 38 years probably never even crossed your mind.
Well, no, the crazy thing is I was only hired for one day. And it was, I had gone into, it all started with Tom Palmer was the casting director. He was an amazing man. He's since passed away, but I went in on a general interview and I left him a tape, and then I went home and thought, gosh, is this ever going to happen? There's so many, interviews you go on, so many auditions. And then his assistant, who was Jill Newton at the time, called and said, Tom's finished with your tape. And I said, already? And she goes, yeah. Really strange, because he usually doesn't do this, but after you left, he went right in and looked at it. And you can come pick it up. I went, oh, okay. A few days he called and said,
I'm sorry, Kate, you're breaking up a little bit there.
But, can you hear me?
Yep. Yeah, it just kind of like glitched out for a second. I can hear you.
Oh, anyway, he said that he had this part for me, and he said it was really small, and if I blinked, I would miss it. But he said he was looking at something else on the show, which doesn't happen, because usually if you do anything on the show, that's it. You can't come back.
Mm-hmm.
So I said, okay, I'll take it. And that was 38 years ago. So it's pretty amazing.
At what point did you realize that it was going to be a permanent or at least recurring role? Did they call you back right away? Or?
No. Well, no. In fact, I still don't think that way. I know, you never know. So I in the beginning, I didn't have a contract. It was about 3 or 4 years later, then they offered me a contract. And in the beginning, I didn't have a name. And Jeannie Cooper, who played my boss, Mrs. Chancellor, one day we were running lines, and when we went to tape, she started calling me Esther. And so fortunately, I didn't go, what? So I responded. And then other actors, they started calling me that. And then the writers started writing it. And then we had a national contest for my last name, which was Valentine. And so, and here we are now. I mean, I have a daughter on the show. I have a granddaughter on the show, and another baby on the way on the show. So, I mean, she's grown, and I've grown, and we're all growing here, and especially during this time, it's going to be really interesting to see what the future holds.
So what are the challenges with, like, I think of like stand-up comedians and play actors who have to keep the same, basically they're redoing the same thing over and over and over again and trying to keep it fresh.
Right.
But I mean, your role changes daily. So what is the biggest challenge in that sort of thing?
I mean, it's like real life, basically. Yeah. You don't know what's going to happen when you wake up in the morning, right? Mm-hmm. I mean, who knew that we were going to be dealing with all this? Nobody knew anything. You don't know. And it's much like that. I always am so excited to plow through the scripts. And when I get a script and see what Esther's going to be doing next, our writers are totally amazing. And I call it working the program. So for me, I still go to class. I still go to my acting class and my voice lessons. I'm a dancer, dance, and you just keep going. And I don't look for the end result. So, because I think if you try too hard and look for that, you can just, in anything, you can just push it away. I think you just have to do what you do to the best that you can, mm-hmm. and leave yourself open to what possibly could come along. And that's like acting. I mean, acting, it's like, you don't know. I mean, that's how I play it. I don't know what's going to happen when Esther, what she's going to deal with. I don't know.
Well, it sounds like you didn't even know the name was coming.
I didn't. Yeah. I didn't know she was going to be named that. And it was interesting because my grandmother's name was Esther. And
that's kind of cool.
So it's just all of these things that kind of, and then when we had a national contest, my boss was Bill Bell. He was the creator and of the show. He and his wife Lee Bell, and he came to me and he said, "Okay, you can pick from these names." And one was Diamond, and one was Valentine, and there was another one. And I said, "Okay, I'll pick Valentine because I was married on Valentine's Day, and I thought that would be good luck."
Yeah. And, those some nice tie-ins to your personal life and
yeah.
So being the same character for so long, do you find more of yourself in Esther or more Esther in you?
Well, I mean, Esther and I are alike in some ways in that we're both loyal. Mm-hmm. We both wear the same size clothes, but you know what? we're different in lots of ways too. And in the beginning, I mean, she used to just drive me crazy because I thought, oh my God, she's so stupid. Until I realized that Esther actually is extremely bright, and Esther always would, stand back and just look around and see what was happening. So I think as the years, I mean, we're very different, and Esther, but the basics and the humanity and the humanness of the two of us are, of course, are a lot alike, and I like that.
Do you find it harder to get into character or easier playing the same character for so long? Is it like second nature, or do you kind of have to...
It was interesting because, in the beginning, I always wore May's uniform, and every time I would put that, and the wardrobe does a lot to, for me as an actor, as an actress, what it does to me. So I put that uniform on, and then I just would start saying ridiculous things. I mean, or I would see my boss in the hall, and he would say something, I would say something back, and after he walked away, I went, gosh, why did I say it like that? That was Esther talking, not me talking. It's kind of interesting. So wardrobe has a lot to do with that. But Esther doesn't wear the uniform anymore, and so it's just it's really interesting, and just being around other people. I don't know. We haven't gone back to work yet, and hopefully that's going to be coming, I hope, fairly soon. And I'm not really sure how they're going to do it. So that would be a really great interview again after this. I have no idea how we're going to be doing this.
Are they likely to work in like COVID into the stories?
I don't know. Right now, I know because I was supposed to do a show right before we stopped, and I know that I'll be continuing on with the shows that were written that we haven't done. So I don't know what they're going to do. We just won the Emmy for Best Show and won 8 Emmys, more than any other show. Our writers,
congratulations!
Thanks, and I know whatever they do is going to be really good and the right thing. I'm extremely proud of our show. So, we'll see. It's going to be interesting.
Do you get to put any input into your character as far as storyline, where you've been with her for so long? Do you kind of get to steer that at all, or are you just kind of at the whims of whatever they want to do?
Well, you know what? It's my job to bring their words and what they have planned to life. That's my job. And I really don't say anything. I mean, if someone new comes on, I'll say, Esther did this, Esther owns half the house, Esther does, there's kinds of things that I'll say, but mainly, I don't say anything, and I'm always surprised at what happens. Wow, Esther's going to do that. That's amazing. Like one day I was in the script, Esther becomes a bag lady. And so I was going, what? And they had me doing all kinds of things. I was in the park taking these pictures and it's a lot of fun because I don't know. And you see in the beginning too, I mean, in daytime, there wasn't a lot of comedy at all. Yeah. In fact, there was none. And Esther became the comic relief for several reasons. And I think, one of them was that I knew that if I didn't do something with the character, I was going to be gone. And if I did something they didn't like it, I was going to be gone. But I thought I just have to, try. So I would do things like every time when Esther opened the door and there was, whether it was the lead of the show, like Eric Braeden plays Victor, or if it was the plumber or whoever it was, Esther would just, go gaga. So she was man crazy. I made her man crazy. And then there were little things like one day in the script, it said, Esther goes out and gets the mail. So I went out, got the mail, and I held up the envelope, looked around, make sure that no one was looking. Held it up, tried to see, and put, no one's around, put it in my pocket, walked in. It wasn't in the script. They never mentioned it, but it was just little things like that. Like one day I asked them for, I said, can you give me a spoon with like melted chocolate on it, like a cooking spoon?
Yeah.
And they went, oh, yeah, and so can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
So I okay, good. So I went to the door, and I'm trying to answer the door, juggling the spoon and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Those are things that I couldn't do now. I mean, you couldn't really do those kinds of things now because things are really fast and furious. You get one take, and like I said, I have no idea what they're going to do when we come back. But whatever they do, I know it's going to be the right thing. So.
You said you get one take to shoot a scene?
Yeah.
So do a lot of errors end up in the show?
Well, no, I mean, you better know your lines. You better be ready. You better be there because maybe they'll have to do it over, but I don't want to have to be because of me.
Right.
Do it over. If something falls down or whatever, they're going to do another take, but mainly, you got to be ready to do it once.
So how long do you have from when they hand you your script until it's time to shoot?
Well, we usually get the scripts about a week ahead of time, but then they give you changes, cuts and changes the night before. So I can't, I basically learn it, but then I can't really lock it down till the night before.
Oh, that's crazy to learn a script in that short amount of time.
Yeah, and then there's some people, who don't know this genre, and they come from, film or stage, and they're like, they'll do a guest part on the show, or they'll be there for a couple of days, and they're shocked. Going, what? If we do the scene and they go, okay, thank you, and then they go, wait, is that it? That's it? No, yeah.
I mean, is that kind of what you really enjoy about it? That kind of fast-paced, always changing nature of it?
Personally, I wish there are times that I would like to do it over, that I think it could be better for me, but then I always think it could be better, so, but that's the nature of the beast, and that's what it is now. And how they're going to, like I said, I don't know how it's going to be.
Yeah, it's going to be really interesting. I was talking to a TV writer the other day, and I think they were talking about going back to filming relatively soon, and it's going to be one of those, social distance as much as they can, but I mean, even, the crew has to be relatively on top of each other at times. And
right.
So it's going to be interesting.
Like we run lines, and we're not going to be able to do that. We're not going to be able to be in our dressing rooms running. Can't be that close. I don't know. We'll just have to figure it out. And I'm sure it's going to be, a trial and error sort of situation. And as things move along,
when this happened, were you guys? Were you guys in the middle of filming when this happened?
Yes, because we go all year round. So.
Oh, you don't take there's no off season?
No, there isn't a hiatus.
So how does that?
We had a huge hiatus now. It's okay. I'd rather not have that.
So how does that affect your day-to-day life? I mean, do you I'm assuming you get to go on vacations and have family time, but how does that affect your social life?
Well, for me, I love working, and so I people can ask for time off or vacation, and if they can, they'll give it to you and they'll write you out. I don't like to be written out, so I
Is there a fear of getting written out and not being written back in?
Well, yeah, you never know. I mean, you can't take, I watch people and I've seen, a lot of people will believe their own press. You can't take this for granted. You can't just say, well, okay, oh, I'm here. I've been here all this time. I'm going to still stay here. Hopefully that's the case if that's what you want. But I never take it for granted. The show has offered me many, many amazing opportunities. I've been able to give back. I'm a celebrity spokesperson for the ALS Association.
Oh, nice.
I do lots and lots and lots of charity. I do 3 teas a year in Canada, and we're trying to figure that out now because that's all been canceled until, we'll have to figure that out. One is they're for March of Dimes, one in Vancouver, that's usually this time of year, one in Toronto, that's usually in December, and one in Calgary, that's in April. And I'm Grand Marshal for lupus, their walk, and so I do lots and lots and lots of things. I really credit them as I've been honored with a star on the Walk of Fame, and I really am so honored, and really, Young and the Restless has just afforded so many opportunities.
I think it's really fascinating that to hear that from something that was just like, I showed up for a 1 day thing,
right?
And that's an awesome story, but it's also a credit to you that you kind of took that opportunity and made something out of it.
Oh, thanks, Andy. I appreciate that.
The other thing that I thought was really interesting is earlier you were talking about how you when things are normal, you still do your classes.
Right.
I was kind of surprised by that. So so do you think it's important that we continue to learn and educate ourselves even in our chosen field?
I absolutely do. As things change. Actually, I've spent a lot of time during this period, listening and going on Zoom classes and listening to what, how things are changing and how they're saying we're going to have to be auditioning and how to set that up and there's just so much. And also, I played the same character a long time, so I like to do different things. I did I started in the theater, so I love doing that. I did a play, so when a good role comes along, I will always do that. I love doing, I've done several films and continue to. I'm in the middle of one right now, which I have 1 day left to do on that film. So I'm hoping.
Oh, that's terrible.
Yeah. That's stopped in the middle. It was so funny because that particular one, it was really great. I was in the bank and I ran into some of the crew and they go, "Oh wow," and one of them said to me, "Hey, I'm going to make a coffee run in the morning. What do you want?" I said, "Really?" He goes, "Yeah." I go, "Wow, that's so sweet." And that night, everything stopped.
Oh, that's funny. Did you send him an email being like, "Hey, where's my coffee?"
Yeah, where's my coffee? Yeah, right. Yeah. Oh gosh, but hopefully we will.
So, you've been in several films. Do you have a particular genre of film that you really like to work in? Do you try to do something different from like a dramatic soap opera type thing?
Well, all of them have been different, and I've enjoyed every single one of them. I just like I said, that's why continue to go to class, because I like to do different things, and so and then from it, extremely very different character. And I love comedy, though. That's my thing, and so I love doing that. if I had my choice, I would do a sitcom or on Broadway. I'd love to do Broadway at some point. And my whole thing is never give up. You just never give up.
Yeah.
Just keep going.
So I mean, you're still taking acting classes. Has there been a significant change in acting classes? Like, we do a lot with audio recording, and we're looking at doing some video stuff. So we're trying to keep up with this ever-changing technology world. But acting, has there been like a quote-unquote technological advance in acting over the years? Like, has the classes changed from one style to another?
Well, they're different, and it depends on what you're doing. Like, stage is very different from television. Television is very different from film. I mean, they're all, and now you've got this whole thing of the Zoom. Of course, it's like the wild, wild west.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
I mean, who knows what? I'm sure that's going to grow, and I'm sure you're finding too, like the problems that you're having, or just dealing with us talking to each other like this. I mean, here we're in different parts of the country, and different time zones, and like you said in the beginning, because of what's going on, we're able to have this conversation, and I'm able to do your show. Which
did I lose you? How weird is that? Are you still there? Uh-oh.
Hey everyone, this is Fish with a quick editor's note. Right here, Kate actually lost power, and we ended up having to reschedule the rest of the interview for another day. So coming up shortly, this is going to be the rest of Andy's interview with Kate. Thank you.
So yeah, I guess we'll just jump back into it, I guess.
okay.
So I had kind of the weekend to think, and I was, I'm still fascinated the fact that you're still taking classes and stuff like that. I think that's really, I don't know if it's unique, but I think that's really cool. And you were saying you were taking a new, or you're still in an acting class. Is there a specific style of acting that you're interested in now? Is from the layperson, the only one I really know about is like method acting. So like, what are the kind of styles that like? Really
I really am not a method actress, but the one where I've been, there's of course different styles, but it's called Actors Comedy Studio because I love comedy. So it's just more, but now of course everything's on Zoom. I'm not a big Zoom fan. But I guess I'm gonna have to get over it because if this is the way it's gonna be for a while, then who knows when things are gonna come back. I don't know.
Yeah, we actually yesterday recorded our first podcast in person in
you did
4 months. Yeah.
How was that?
Oh, so cool. So nice to see people.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's for one of our other shows that's all about the restaurant industry and working in a restaurant. So it's hosted by a couple of our local restaurant owners. And so they're still they're open, but most of them are running limited hours. So we kind of got together in one of their restaurants that have been, reconstructed to be socially distant, and we were all kind of not sitting close, but kind of further apart. And it was just nice to see people and have a couple cocktails. And
did you so where are you, by the way?
Plymouth, Massachusetts.
Okay, so because here the restaurants are closed again. They were open, now they're closed. So things are, closing down again. So,
we've been really lucky. For whatever reason, our numbers have been going down as far as COVID cases.
Yeah.
So we're just trying to keep it staying that way. So pretty much everywhere you go, everyone has masks on, staying mostly away from each other. I mean, there's those outliers that are doing what they want, but pretty much people are trying to do the right thing.
Well, how did you have masks on during your interview? No, you were just away.
We didn't. Yeah, we were kind of a little further away than we normally would be.
Yeah.
But in order to like go into a restaurant, you have to wear a mask when you enter to go to your table, and once you sit down, you're allowed to take your mask off. But if you get up to go to the bathroom or anything, then you have to put your mask back on, and you can't stand at other people's tables. Like you can only sit, and it's like 4 to a table, I think, and so there's pretty strict rules.
Yeah. Oh my God! There's a coyote. Can you see?
On your deck?
Oh my God! That was so scary. I can't believe it.
Do you not normally get coyotes?
No. That's what? Oh my God! That's so scary. The thing is I've heard too that and I just saw some other people saying that there were like a pack of coyotes. I think because people aren't around.
Oh yeah, yep.
They're taking over.
Yeah.
That's so freaky.
Do you have a small pet?
No.
Oh, okay. Then you should be fine.
No, but I have me.
Oh, it's not gonna. Yeah, we have coyotes around here all the time. So.
Really?
Yeah.
I've seen one in the area, but I've never seen one during the day walking right by here.
Yeah, usually you see them at night, but I've heard lots of reports and stories about like wildlife being not more bold, just there's less people around. So
yeah.
So what?
I bet you've never done an interview with someone who had a coyote walking.
Nope, this is the first time. This is the first coyote appearance.
It was me. There's all kinds of fun, crazy things will happen.
So this actors, what was it? The Actors
Comedy Studio.
Comedy Studio. Do you work on just basically comedy stuff, or?
Yeah, but he'll work on other things too. But it's basically comedy. Yeah. And comedy, actually comedy is more difficult.
It's extremely hard. I feel like I've been talking to a lot of stand-up comics lately, and there's a real distinct difference between being funny amongst your friends and funny in general. Because
well, the thing is, for comedy, I mean, you have to play the reality of the situation. So you can't play into the laughs. You can't, play the comedy of it. You have to, just play it like it's, real. It's real life, and the timing is extremely, extremely important. You have to. If you're just off a tiny bit, it's not going to work either. So
how do you find the right timing for a bit?
Well, I think it's just, it's something, some people are better at it than others. That's why, some people, you hear that, and they make you laugh, and then others could say the same thing and not make you laugh.
Right.
So it's just that you, like my character Esther is really kind of a comic character, even though there is really not, and there never was comedy in soaps. So basically, like the first one that did that, they didn't really do that. So I still have to play Esther, the reality of the situation, and I can't play it as I think it's funny and try to make everyone think it's funny, because that's just not going to work. It doesn't work.
Yeah, that kind of makes me think of like. I feel like there's that phase that little kids go through where they realize that they can be funny, so they try to be funny. And when they try it, or like they say a joke and they get a laugh, so they'll say the joke again. They don't understand why they don't get the same laugh.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. So do you have tips for people on how to be funny?
I mean, there's certain things, like you'll notice in the writing too. The writing, of course, in all things are extremely, extremely important. That's why I really feel Young and the Restless is the #1 show. Our writers are brilliant, and for them to write, for 40, I hear 38 for me, 47 years, 48 for the show. It's just, every day. I think they're amazing. They're amazing. So you have to, but there's certain things that you'll notice if you say a word, a certain word comes up 3 times in a row. That's something they use.
Yeah.
We'll see that too.
It's got to be really difficult for them to keep writing scripts for, basically 5 days a week for the past 40 plus years or however long it's been on, to not repeat the same old stories.
Right. That's why they're so brilliant.
Yeah.
They're so great.
Do you think, because I remember back in the day, soap operas kind of had this, so-and-so would die and then their twin brother would show up, or are they trying to kind of get out of that pigeonhole and kind of come up with new and innovative ideas?
It's going to be interesting to see what happens now.
Yeah.
This is going on, because I don't know. We'll have to do this, again, and I'll be able to tell you, in a couple months, what's happening, because I really don't know how they're going to write it, what they're going to do. They're going to have to write things differently.
Hopefully, it won't be all recorded via Zoom.
Well, it won't be. Our show's not going to be Zoom. I really, really feel, this is my personal opinion, but I really think that daytime is really going to make a resurgence, because people, I'm speaking for myself.
Yeah.
Who needs reality? We're living in reality.
Yeah.
Who needs it anymore? I think we really need to, people want to escape and see other things. And so it's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting. And Zoom for me doesn't work. It works with something like this.
Yeah.
This is great that I can see you, and and the way we have to do it. But to do a whole show on Zoom, I don't like it. I don't like it.
Even like the late night talk shows that are doing it via Zoom, it just loses something. There's no audience to react to, and they're doing the best they can, but it's just it's a comic thing. They will hit a punchline and a joke, and when normally you would wait for the laugh, and now it's like, well, how long do you hold for the laugh, because you can't tell when it's dying down.
You don't know. Yeah.
So
like you saw American Idol, the end of it, they did it on Zoom, and they were all performing from their homes. And
oh, really? I didn't know that.
That was kind of interesting. I thought they did a really great job, and the way it was produced and everything, that was really great. But I'm sure that was really difficult for the performer too, because they got absolutely no feedback.
Yeah, and you're only as good as the equipment you have, and
right.
If your connection's no good, then you're
if it goes out like that.
Yeah, exactly.
Like me in the middle, you just don't know. You don't know. So it's really, we're, like I had said before, this is the beginning. Of course, I'm sure Zoom will get better. I'm sure all of this will get better.
Yeah.
It's just no one's done this before. No one knows what they're doing. It's a whole trial and error, and just have to keep going.
And when you guys get back, you should have a potential uptick in ratings, just because you have more people at home. There's
I would think that people have been watching. They've been showing the classic shows, and that's been just great, because I could see I've been watching, going, oh my God, this is me 30 years ago. Oh my goodness.
Are you overly critical of yourself back then? Because I know if I look at, drawings from, even 10 years ago, that I'm like, oh man, I can't believe I showed that.
Yeah. No, I'm overly critical all the time. So back then and now, I always want it to be, I always think it could be better, that I could do better. And so, I do. I watch the show. I watch the show and see what's going on. I study, my performance, and go, gee, did that work? And believable? My whole thing is it believable? Especially because my character is kind of wacky,
Yeah.
so I want to make sure that people believe her, that, believe that could really happen.
And it's one of those things. I feel like a good actor, it obviously makes it, they look like they're not acting, but even in the time when they're not doing something, they look very natural. I was just thinking of there's a Kevin Smith movie called Clerks, and I was listening to the audio commentary of him over the movie one time, and he was talking about some bit character who was on the screen for like 2 seconds, and she was like a detective, and she was like supposed to be taking notes, and he's like, just look at the way she writes, and just the whole time she's talking, she's like doing like this.
Mm-hmm.
And now I cannot watch that scene anymore without like focusing on like how bad she was doing at that. And it's like those little kind of natural things, like how do you keep it so it looks natural and not like you're like, how do you write a note naturally and then keep those mundane tasks so that they look real?
Yeah. That's why I love acting, and it's always a challenge for me. And you ask, why would I continue to go to class? Well, there's a reason, because you can't just get. I think some people start believing their own press, and they just, you can tell why when that someone's phoning it in. Why are you watching someone and they're crying their eyes out and it doesn't affect you?
Yeah.
Why? Or why is someone else, and they're hardly you're crying with them, because it's just it gets to you, it affects you, and so.
And it sometimes it can be just as simple as the realism in their voice. I mean, I don't know if you've seen the movie Coco.
Oh, Coco
by Pixar. Oh, the end. It like just broke me. It's such a weird, happy, sad at the end of that movie. But yeah, I mean, even just through the delivery in their voices, it really came through.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, for a young up and coming actor, what kind of advice would you send their way to help them get started?
I would say, for me, they call it show business for a reason. It's a business, and it's a business of show, and you have to treat it as such. And you don't believe your own press, and you work really, really hard, and you go to class, and you just keep going. And it's also, I mean, so many people have, that's the whole thing. What keeps you from getting there? Is it it's fear? Is it the fear of success? Is it the fear? There's just so many things, and you just have to keep going, and you have to I think that you have to want it more than anything else in the entire world. If you don't want it that badly, then I would say, do yourself a favor and do me a favor, because I don't want you in my business. If you don't want it that hard, that badly, that you're going to give it all, your all, and, and everything, because it's a rough business. It really is. It's not easy. And it's going to be interesting now to see what happens with it, because we're in a whole new ball game. Ball game, really. I mean, they can't even have, are they going to be hitting the ball? They're going to hit the ball to still strike out or get a home run. No one's going to see it, but I don't know.
I think they're supposed to be starting that soon. I don't know.
Yeah.
But
I heard that too.
Yeah, you just made me think, and I wish I could remember who said this. It was someone was asked oh, what kind of advice would you give someone starting in your field, and they said don't. And and the person kind of looked at him funny. He's like, if me telling you don't is going to stop you, then you shouldn't be in this field anymore.
That's right. That's absolutely right, because it's rough.
Yeah.
And you're gonna hear more no's than yeses, you know.
I've always hated the idea of, people telling, younger people, oh, have a fallback. And it's like, well, if you have a fallback, you're already planning to fail. Like you kind of have to go in and just,
you are right,
have that blind, like, no, I'm not gonna fail, and so I don't need a fallback.
Well, look at you. I mean, you're successful, and you do because you get that.
Yeah, I do it because it's fun, man. Like I just love to do it. So I don't know if it's successful or not. I just enjoy what we're doing, so we do it whether it's successful or not. And that's to me, that's why would
you need to have fun, and people can tell too. They can tell that, wow, you must have had a lot of fun playing that role, or that. No, yeah. I mean, see, for me, I can't wait to go to work.
Yeah. Oh, those are the best jobs.
I can't. And in doing this with you, I was okay, great. I'm excited. What's gonna happen today? Oh, well, today
a coyote.
Well, I don't know. It's got to be you, because but it's fun. You just don't know what's gonna happen.
Yeah. Yeah, I do have a tendency to end up in weird situations and have weird things happen. So that's not.
Yeah.
It's just, but around here, coyotes. I live downtown now, but before I lived downtown, we had coyotes in our yard almost nightly. So for us, it was.
Yeah. Well, I saw one here. I mean, seriously, they were never on the property, but I saw one actually a couple of weeks ago at night.
Yeah.
I pounded on the window, and it ran away.
Yeah, they're very skittish. They're not.
But I've never seen that one. Was brazen, man.
Yeah, that was very close. It was on your deck.
I mean, he was just going, oh my God.
That's funny. Yeah. Are you in LA or?
Yeah.
I wouldn't think of LA as being coyote country.
Yeah. I don't know. See what's happening. I mean, the whole world's gone crazy. That's the whole world.
So the animal sightings we've been getting here are rats.
Ooh.
Yeah, because I live close enough to downtown, and downtown has a huge restaurant industry. And so they were closed for so long that all the dumpsters were empty. So then the rats started to kind of like filter out looking for food. And, we have a bird feeder in the backyard. So they were in the backyard, and my housemate's like, what is that? And I'm like, I'm pretty sure that's a rat.
Oh God.
Yeah. So
it's just. God. So what does he do? Is he in your business?
Oh, my housemate?
Yeah.
Oh no. She's a potter.
She's a potter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, we have one other person in that works with me at Inebri-art, and he does the editing and he does all the technical stuff. He's kind of a soft-spoken, shy guy, so I'm the personality, and he's all the technical stuff.
Hey, that's good. That's a good match. You need
it keeps me from having to do all the technical stuff.
Oh my God, I sure could use a technical person.
Yeah.
Oh man.
And then I'll always be like, oh hey, we're gonna do this. He's like, so I have to learn how to do that, and I'm like, yep, yeah, okay. So
yeah.
It's a lot of fun working with them, and we do have that like real good balance between, we excel at what the other one doesn't. So it's a good match.
Yeah.
Do you find that? So obviously you've had a bunch of coworkers over 38 years of working on the one show. Was there one time where like the actors clicked better than others, or has it been pretty consistent all the way through?
Well, there always are. I mean, it's like Jeannie Cooper that played my boss all these years. I mean, we had a connection, and that's why it was so successful. The pairing, I mean, you can tell. Certain actors that work together, when they click and works really well, then that's good. And Jess Walton, who plays Jill, I love working with her as well. I mean, I love working with everyone there. I mean, everyone is really terrific and works really hard and it's going to be exciting to go back because more ways than one. It's going to be exciting because I want to go back to work.
It's just nice to be around people. Like,
it's rough. This isolation thing is not a good thing. It's not good for you. It's not healthy. It takes a toll on you.
Oh, absolutely.
It's definitely taking a toll on my mom. I've seen that because she's really active and always going, and it's not a good thing.
No,
it's not good.
Are you in your situation? Are you isolated with someone else? Are you by yourself?
No, I'm by myself, and it's really hard. It's very hard. My husband that passed away, and so it's been really. I mean, I just keep thinking, I'm going around the house talking to him. I'm going, can you believe this? What is going on here? And he was in the health field. So it would be really interesting, to hear what he would say about all this, But if you're isolating, well, there's problems even if you're with someone, I'm sure. Because isolating with someone, you could drive each other crazy. I mean, I'm thinking, how many divorces are going to be after this?
Oh, yeah.
Over,
I can see it already in some people I know who are just like, that's it. I can't be around this person anymore.
Yeah.
Like, you've been with them for years. And they're like, I just... 24/7 for months, and that's... And this is going to make me sound like a terrible person because it just kind of came out and I didn't mean it. I was dating this girl 2 years ago, and at one point she's like, I just wish we could spend all our time together, and just natural reaction, I went, ugh, and she got like really mad. I'm like, I understand why you're mad because that was wrong of me to do. I'm like, but just the idea of spending 24/7 with anyone.
Oh yeah, it's not good. That's not healthy either.
No, not at all.
It's not. I couldn't have done that. I mean, was always going and doing, and because when you come home, you have things that you can tell the person and share with the person. How was your day? What happened? Blah blah blah. But when you're with each other 24/7, that's
you have nothing to say.
Yeah. I mean, how many times? That's, and I don't know. I guess I hear what everyone's doing. They're baking bread. I mean, I don't want to bake bread, but
I've done that a couple times. I've baked some bread. I do like to cook, so I've been kind of like
good.
Getting back into that a little bit. But it's weird. I have like, I used to have, my full-time job, part-time job. I ran an Inebri-art. I was always doing something. And now it's like I have laundry to do and I have trouble getting it done, even though I have all day. It's just like I have no motivation at all. And
you don't want to do it.
Yeah.
I get it. There's so many. Okay. So there's so many things I could do.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't want to do it.
Yeah. And it's weird. Yeah. And, but 6 months ago, it's like I had 6 times as much to do and somehow I managed to get it all done.
Right.
So, yeah.
And then you think there's all this time you have to do these things that you should be doing. Like I should have been doing my income tax. Do you think I did it? No, I'll have to get an extension. In fact, that reminds me, I'm going to have to call. Just things like that.
Yeah,
it's a very strange phenomenon of what has gone on here.
You just made me think of the people that I need to call.
Right. I
got to call my mechanic. That's right.
Yeah. Oh, I got to do that too. Yeah. There's just. It's just a very different world, and it's a world that none of us have seen before, and I have a feeling that we're going to be seeing it for a long time.
Yeah, I hope not. I don't know. I just feel like it's so tough. I was downtown because I do work part-time at a place downtown here over the weekend, and like half the people who came in were tourists.
Wow.
And I'm like, why are you here? get out of my state, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, it was kind of a little unnerving.
They
Most
have
of them
masks
were,
on? Did they have masks?
oh yeah, they're not allowed in the building unless they have masks on. But still, it's just that idea of like, stay in your own state, you know, especially not to be kind of like, oh, look at us, but you know, where Massachusetts is doing so well, we are very like, we want to continue to do well. Please stop, you know.
Right.
So it's I think it's going to be a very strange time for another year or so, but
I agree. I mean, you wouldn't want me coming there because I'm from California, living in California.
yeah.
I mean, you know, so you would go, Kate, what are you doing here?
we had one couple, and I'm like, oh, where are you guys from? They're like, Texas, and I was like, are you on vacation? They're like, no, we just moved up here, and I'm like, all right, well, I guess that's okay.
Oh, yeah, they're living there. Yeah.
Yeah. You're welcome. You're welcome to come once this quiets down. You know, then you
okay, thanks.
Yeah, then you can come visit Plymouth.
Okay, that'd be good. That would be fun.
But yeah, it's.
We could do this in person.
Huh?
We could do this in person.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, we'd love to have
any coyotes, maybe.
Oh yeah, we definitely have coyotes. We have coyotes and foxes and raccoons and is it three? A friend of mine works for animal control. We have 3 peacocks in Plymouth.
Oh, peacocks! We have peacocks.
We shouldn't. They're just on the loose somewhere that someone had them and let them go, and so every once in a while she'll get a phone call and be like, "There's a peacock in Plymouth," and so. But
wow,
yeah, great place to visit. So I highly recommend it when things quiet down.
Yeah, or when things pick up.
Yeah, whichever, however you want to look at it, you know.
You're right. Yeah.
But so I think we're at about an hour because it's hard to tell because
I know we don't know.
Yeah.
I don't even know and I'm trying to think about what I talked about before to set up all that I do. Celebrity spokesperson for ALS. And
yep, we started off with that.
All that.
Yeah, mm-hmm.
And talk about all that. So yeah, I enjoyed it very much.
Awesome. Yeah, this was fun. And you said you had a movie that you were working on?
Yeah, that I'm working on.
Do you have a release date, or can you say?
No, it was unfinished.
Okay.
It stopped right in the middle.
So, what's the title, though?
It's called Shriver.
Shriver. So we can keep our eyes open for that when that comes out.
Yeah. Yeah, hopefully that will. There's another one that I did that should be hopefully being released at some point, and that's called Echo Boomers. So that's a good one.
Echo Boomers?
Yeah. And I mean, I've done, several films, and the Charnel House is really good. That's kind of like a sci-fi. It's not horror. It's not like blood and guts horror, but
maybe like a thriller kind of thing.
Yeah, it's a thriller, definitely thriller. That's a really good one. That's out. You can probably see that on Amazon or something. And and there's I was in Mother's Day, Gary Marshall's Mother's Day. That was great. Just
how was he to work with?
Meadows with Katie Holmes. I did that. I had scenes with her. That was good. How was
Gary to work with?
He was amazing. I'm so sad he's gone. He is amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing person, amazing director, amazing.
Such a legend.
So fortunate to have been able to do that.
That's awesome.
Yeah. It's sad. It's supposed to do. He was talking about, because he was really good about once he worked with you, and if he liked you, he would, keep using you.
Yep.
So he was already talking about the next film, and I was getting, really excited about that. He's really, really good guy. He was an amazing, talented, very talented man, and he's definitely missed. Very, very missed. So.
It's still great that you got to work with someone like that, though.
I'm so lucky. I'm so lucky that I was able to do that. It's great.
All right, so I think that wraps things up, and thank you again for kind of like finding time for us twice. And
it was a lot of fun, Andy. You're really good, and I enjoyed it. And just tell everybody around there to keep wearing those masks.
And, we're definitely going to do that.
And,
for sure.
And good for you and everything that you're doing. I think
Yeah.
great.
And we hope everything kind of gets back on the mend over there and you get filming soon.
Yeah, that would be really good.
Yeah. So keep an eye on those coyotes.
Oh gosh. Okay. Okay. I'm afraid. I'm thinking going, I have to go out now. How am I going to do that?
You'll be fine.
Okay. Okay. Well, do you have a secret? Should I bang on something?
Yeah. The secret is almost to be loud. I mean, because yeah, I mean, if you could just basically go out and if you yell, if you're going to startle it and it's going to run away.
Oh, good.
I mean,
because that's why that night I banged on the window.
Yeah, because they're not interested in you. They're probably looking for food scraps or.
Yeah, but I don't want to be the food. You know,
but you're not a food scrap.
Do they eat people? Oh God.
No. Like that's why I asked if you have small pets. Like if you had a cat or like a Chihuahua, you may want to keep that inside. But
no.
Nah. I mean, I used to let my dogs out to go chase the coyotes out of the yard. So.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
So they're not very aggressive. They're more skittish. But.
Yeah.
I mean, I wouldn't try to pet one, but.
Yeah. Okay. Well, this one looked hungry.
Yeah.
It was really skinny. Really skinny.
It's funny. We hear that all the time, and I guess mange is common with coyotes. So it's like they look kind of pretty rough, but they're fine. So. If you come out this way when things are back to normal, we'd love to have you on the show.
Oh, thanks, Andy. I loved it. I really enjoyed it.
Awesome.
Thank you so much for having me.
Oh, no problem. And thanks to our listeners for listening, and we'll see you guys next week.
Okie doke.
Thanks for listening to today's podcast. You can find us on all social medias at Inebri-art or on Instagram at Inebri-art6. You can email us at Inebri-art@yahoo.com. And make sure you listen to the other podcasts on the Inebri-art Podcast Network, including Bar Talk, Old Colony Cast, Retro Redoctopus, America's Hometown Horror Podcast, and our newest one, Theme Park Legends, a podcast about working at theme parks. What else? And we'll catch you again next time.